Hey guys, so today I'm going to be doing a story time because I was in the emergency room last week and then fell afterwards. So let's get into that. So today is currently Monday, so it literally was a week ago. So last Monday I ended up in the ER. I was fine, and then we had work, and then we went to IKEA because I've been wanting to go to IKEA and there's like none. I mean, I love IKEA, but the online shopping does not do it justice. I have to go to the actual store to see the ideas. Anyone else like that? Maybe I'm crazy, but that's just how I feel. And I don't know, I don't like shopping online because for me, personally, if I don't already know what I want, it's hard to navigate. And it just becomes a pain, and I'd rather see it in person, and, because things can look different in person than what they do online. Like even colors and shades, etc., So we were walking around, and I ended up getting emotional about a bedroom because I loved it so much. It wasn't just a bedroom, it was like kind of like the house setup. It looked like a mini apartment basically, and I loved it so much. It was just gorgeous, and I was like, this is made for me. Oh, that's how you know I'm pregnant, because I started crying. It actually wasn't like crying, I was like, I teared up or whatever, but that's not a thing for me. And so then, we continue to walk around. We are getting close to the end, and I'm getting really dizzy, which happens when my blood sugar drops. I kind of just feel like I'm going to pass out, and it happens a lot harder and a lot. That's probably not the word I should have used. It happens a lot more intense and a lot quicker than before, but I did have this issue before I got pregnant, and this pregnancy kind of just makes it worse. We ended up getting food at IKEA. I ended up getting vegetarian meatballs, I know, because I didn't get the Swedish ones because there was a wait for them and I was about to pass out. And that's another thing. Before I got pregnant, I wasn't like about to pass out. I would feel like I was going to pass out, but I wasn't going to pass out. Now it's like I'm going to pass out if I don't. Didn't test the theory on if I would actually pass out if I waited long enough, because once I hit that point, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to die. And it's happened multiple times, so whatever. Like, do you see my face getting red? I don't know what that is either. I never used to see a person that like got blushy. Is that a word? My face has never been so like easily adjusted, I guess. I kind of like it though, because like I can also feel the warmth when it does that. I don't really know how to explain it. What causes that? Maybe I should look it up. I feel like it should be something that's common sense, but I just never thought about it because I never had the issue, or it's not an issue. But I never had that quality. Back to the point. So we ate, and then we went downstairs and went to look around, and all of a sudden I get this really bad pain. My back started hurting, and it went into my stomach and like around front and like lower. I don't really know how to explain it. There wasn't really any pain like in my upper stomach or anything. And it happened pretty quickly, and it was like all of a sudden I was like, and I couldn't move, and I like started crying, not like bawling, but like there's tears running down my face, And I was like, oh, it hurts. And that's literally what I said. My mom was like, are you okay? And I'm like, it hurts. And so then I started to try to walk it off, and it slowly like got a little bit better. And then like 7 minutes later, the same thing happened again. So I just walked it off, but she was on the phone, so I couldn't like get her to talk me through or whatever it was. So we were at the checkout at this point. And so then we leave and we get in the car, and then it doesn't happen again until like 15 minutes later. And when it happened again, it wasn't the same pain. It was more of a mild version of it. I would say like medium amount, if you called that the worst, which obviously probably the worst pain I'd felt throughout pregnancy so far, but not the worst pain that I'm gonna feel, at least physically for that matter. So then we're on our way home, and it's pretty uncomfortable, and then it was kind of just like sore, and I was having a lot of pains like just all in that general area. I mean, even kind of into my thighs, and it would kind of like just like move around on where the pain was, but it was like constant pain, and it felt like a lot of pressure. To explain it, it almost felt like pressure on my cervix from like the inside, if that makes sense. Like not up, but like out. And I was like, oh my, but how do you, like, I really couldn't explain it any better than that either, because it literally felt like something was trying to push out of me. That sounds weird. Especially because like, I didn't know what it was. It was weird. Like, I can't even explain fully what it was. or the pain, and just felt like a lot of pressure in that area, and it was really uncomfortable to like sit or lay certain ways. Like I had to angle myself, and I hadn't drank a ton of water, but I had been drinking like a decent amount. Not a ton though, like not even nearly enough. So I started drinking a lot of water to try to help because my friend said that should help. And then I was getting pressure towards, this might be a little TMI, but like my butt area. And I was like, what the heck? Like this doesn't make sense. So I tried to go to the bathroom and nothing. And I wasn't constipated because I'd already gone to the bathroom like that day, and like I wasn't constipated. Like I know when I'm constipated, and I wasn't. It was like hurting and feeling like pressure in my vagina when I would try to go to the bathroom, and obviously you don't want to try too hard because it can like cause issues. I ended up going to the bathroom some, and it was like all that I had to go, and I could tell that that wasn't what the pain was from. It was like hurting and feeling like pressure in my vagina when I would try to go to the bathroom, and obviously you don't want to try too hard because it can like cause issues. So that was really weird. I ended up going to the bathroom some, and it was like all that I had to go, and I could tell that that wasn't what the pain was from. So I ended up calling my doctor because it was now like an hour and a half since that had happened. I don't know. It just had kept on going, and she said, well, okay, well, if it continues for another hour, go to the doctor's. If it slows down or stops or whatever, then just come into the doctor's office as soon as you can, because I was out of town. I'm still out of town. Not the point. So it didn't get any worse. The bad pains didn't come back, but I still had that pressure, and it was really uncomfortable. I mean, it wasn't like severely uncomfortable, but it was enough to make me worried because I was like, why does it feel uncomfortable? Like, I don't understand. Like, I get the pregnancy can be uncomfortable, but it wasn't like growing pains. It wasn't pains that I was used to. It was really weird. So we go to the ER, and they take me up to labor and delivery. With it not being my doctor, they had to call in a doctor, and I don't know, at first we were kind of worried he wasn't going to see me, but like obviously, I don't think they're allowed to deny you for like no reason. That'd be weird, because like that's what they're there for. So they had me get into a gown and took a urine sample, and everything from the urine sample came back fine. And so it took forever. So then they monitored me for contractions. I didn't have any while I was there, and I wasn't really surprised because even that bad pain didn't come back. So I was 22 weeks at this time, or I was 21 weeks and a day. Because right now I'm about to be 23 weeks tomorrow. Did I say 21 weeks and a day? I'm 21, I was 21 weeks and 6 days. So I was about to be 20, I was like almost to that 22 week mark. That's kind of important. So I remember that. I was almost at that 22 week mark. So there was some other signs, I can't think of them at the moment, that were like preterm labor signs. And I found out that even a bladder infection can mimic like preterm labor signs. And I'm like, oh, that's great. I'm glad to know that if I have a bladder infection, I could potentially think I'm going into labor. And I wasn't entirely thinking I was going into labor because I was like, okay, well, like this hurts, but it doesn't hurt bad enough that I feel like I'm going into labor. But then again, my mom didn't know she was in labor when her water broke. Like, she had been in labor all day, didn't know, water broke, and she was confused because I was born at 32 weeks. I was born pretty early. I mean, that's really not that early compared to a lot of babies, but like, definitely wasn't ready. Like, she had just had her baby shower. So the doctor finally gets there, and I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting any details. I mean, they did all my vitals. Everything was fine. Her heartbeat was in the 150s per usual. So the doctor gets there, and he says that there's quite a bit of things it could be, but the first thing is to check to make sure that my cervix is closed, not thinned out, not dilated, you know, all good to go, thick and closed. So I was like, okay, well, you know, go ahead, because like, if it isn't, obviously that's an issue, and if it is, then it's completely fine, and I'm fine. And he checks, and I was completely good to go, like closed and wasn't thinned out, like it was good, which is good because that was honestly a huge thing. I was worried about feeling that pressure near my cervix, which I really don't understand how that was happening anyways. So I wasn't really aware of what round ligament pains were. Like, I've heard of them happening, but I didn't know what they were. and I didn't know when they happened. Like, I'd kind of read something about them happening around 18 weeks, but then I didn't read a ton about it because, like, I didn't know what they were. Round ligament pains are these pains that can happen between 18 and 24 weeks. After 24 weeks is when you gotta kind of be on the lookout for Braxton Hicks contractions, which I don't know the complete. You'd have to look up the definition. I'm not going to try to give you a definition because I suck at terminology, like I said. This would be why I'm not going into the medical field to anyone curious. That's why the 22-week was pretty important, because it's like right in the middle there. My doctor hadn't like mentioned that this is a thing that could be happening, and I don't know if like it's because I didn't ask. So like in my future appointments, I'm going to be asking, what should I be expecting? What pains that could happen? Like, what should I be aware of? When should I call you? When should I go to the hospital? Like, I mean, clearly if there's blood or like feels like my water broke, something like that, I can get to the hospital. But like, well, not necessarily for blood. Call the doctor. Depends on what. Ask your doctor. I feel like every doctor would answer about blood differently. Blood can happen in pregnancy for multiple reasons. I'm not a doctor. You do with that information as you please. Do your own research on all that I'm saying, actually. But I'm repeating what I've been told. So, I ended up going home, and he actually said, like, drink lots of water. He was like, drink water, 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 water. Like, kept talking about water. Honestly, I could have gotten it tattooed on me quicker. He, like, kept talking about water. He was just stressing, like, how important it is to drink water, and I get that. He had a unique sense of humor. And then he tried getting me as a patient, which was, like, kind of funny. Which makes sense, because, like, he just drove all the way out there just to do a cervical check. And, like, go home. Like, he's getting paid to do it, but, like, that sucks. Especially because it was, like, 11 or something at night. We didn't get home till 12, but yeah, that kind of sucks to be him. Oops, that's your job. He was actually really nice, and I appreciate all of his help, because I did ask a lot of questions, and I just like to be thoroughly aware of what is happening as much as I can, because, like, honestly, you never know what's going on inside of there. Even once you can feel the baby move, you don't know what the heck's happening in there. You can be like, what are you doing? Now, a week later, I definitely know the difference between growing pains, round ligament pains. Well, I guess that is growing pains, I think. But there's, like, different kinds of pains, you know? And I kind of got the gist of what the different ones are. And the pain that I had that day was not round ligament pains, but I ended up getting them today. But then it was happening, like, every 2 minutes, and it happened, like, 12 times. And I was like, okay, well, I know this is not contractions. It's definitely not Braxton Hicks contractions, and it's not round ligament pain, because why the heck would it happen 12 times? I'm thinking it's my digestive system. It doesn't make sense, because what I ate today versus what I ate at IKEA doesn't, like, there's not much in common with them. But it kind of just seems like that's what has to do with it, because it happens a little bit after I eat. And I've had a lot of stomach issues in the past that still haven't been solved. I love science. I actually don't mind science. It's just like medical stuff gets me all sorts messed up, because it's like, oh, you list your symptoms? Okay, well, here's 500 different possibilities that it could be. It's like, great. That's great. I'm glad to know I don't know what's exactly happening in my body, and there's no actual logical explanation. Actually, I'm pretty sure 9 out of 10 times when there's something going on with me, there's no logical explanation. Unless it's like, I'm actually sick. But like, things that happen in my daily life, it doesn't make any sense, but whatever. I've had so many tests done too, and it's like, they never can figure out what's wrong with me. It's like, great. I'm just crazy. That's what it is. I solved it. Glad to know. Anyways, so I go about my week, and I kind of was still pretty uncomfortable for the next day or two, and I was drinking a ton of water. And I've been kind of slacking the past couple days, because I've just had like a lot going on. That's when I've been really feeling round ligament pains. So yeah, definitely stay hydrated to avoid that. That's definitely not what the pains were before. I'm not going to do a full baby update, because there's quite a bit actually, but that video will be coming up. That was kind of just my story of thinking I was in labor, kind of. I don't know. I really didn't know what to think, because my friend had a lot of the same signs and what. Granted, every pregnancy is different. So then fast forward to Saturday. So I had prom Friday, And then Saturday, I had my baby shower. I was in our spare bedroom, which we call the treehouse room, which if you haven't seen my room tour, I'll either put it in the eye or link it below. This won't make sense if you haven't seen it, but like I was climbing up it to make the bed. And like I even had like climbed all the way into it and like made the bed and everything. And I actually kind of like BS made it because I took all the bedding off and then put like a blanket at the end where you could actually see it. And then kind of covered up like pillows and stuff because that bed is really hard to make. And no. I was going to either smack my head on the fan or Lord knows what. And then I went to get down and went to step back and missed a step. So I like completely fell onto my back. And that was great. For a minute I didn't move and I was like, oh God. And it hurt and it like knocked the wind out of me and I was like, oh. Like kind of like, what just happened? And so then I was like yelling for my mom, but she couldn't hear me because I was nervous to like move because you know you're not really supposed to move if you end up having a head or like spine injury or whatever. And then like I kind of started moving a little bit and I was like, oh, I'm fine. Like I'm fine. So I get up and I was a little bit shaken up because you know that's kind of a decent fall. I'm a pretty cautious person because I'm super clumsy, so it's like that was overwhelming. It doesn't sound that bad, but like it wasn't that bad. It was just the fact that like I don't know how to explain it. It just kind of sucked. But I ended up laying down and I ended up getting like a headache, I believe is what they're called, where it's like in your neck and head. I didn't take any Tylenol because I kind of wanted to just make sure it was okay, and I made sure I stayed awake even though I wanted to go to sleep because like just in case there's a concussion or something. I'm not sure. I just wanted to make sure, monitor everything. Plus I wanted to make sure the baby was still moving. Like typically if you lay on your back or like fall, as long as you don't fall directly on your stomach, the baby's typically going to be fine. Sometimes even if you fall on your stomach, I think the baby's fine. You just gotta like watch it and be careful, and if you're worried about it, go to the doctor, obviously. And if you're not having any pains and the baby's still moving, more than likely the baby's fine. And that's kind of how it was for me, and I was not about to go to the ER again, and my doctor is about 3 hours from me. But yeah, that was my story time, and I hope you enjoyed it. I don't know what I'm titling it, but hopefully it'll be good. I hope you have a great day. Bye.